Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. Root Beer here, wishing you all well. We're looking at question 24 on our 2012 Grade 8 Gauss. Stones are numbered 1 through 10. Three groups of stones can be selected so that the sum of each group is 11. For example, one arrangement is 1 and 10, 2, 3, 6, 4, 7. Okay, including the example, how many arrangements are possible? This is kind of similar to the last one, isn't it? We're going to have to try and be very organized and careful. Okay? So how can we make 11? Well, we could do something like try and list out all the possible ways to make 11. You know, 1, 2, 3, 5 is a way to make 11. 1, 2, you can't do 4, 4, so that's not going to work. Or 2, 6. You could try something like that. I'm not necessarily sure that's the best or worst way to go. Or other things we can do is we can try and say, all right, suppose I had a group and it has 10 in it. What else can be in that group? Well, 1. All right, now of the remaining numbers, let's try and make another group. Okay. But I'm not necessarily sure that's the best way to go here. And so this is something that needs to be touched upon, especially if you're doing any sort of counting problem. You want to make sure that your cases are simple enough to understand and follow so that you're not going to make a mistake, but also you don't want to take too long making your cases, and you really don't want to take too long to decide between things. Because if you hem and ha and oh, which one's going to be easiest for me, sometimes you can waste too much time. You know, sometimes you just pick one and try your best. So how about we try and find ways to make 11. We'll list them all out, and then we'll see which ones could be matched up together, which ones don't have any overlaps. Okay. So as I said, well, let's start. Let's sort of try and combine both methods. What can be paired up with a 10? Well, just a 1. What can be paired up with a 9? Well, just a 2. What can be paired up with an 8? A 3, or we could have a 2 and a 1. Although already we're seeing this group and this group can't appear at the same time because the 1 is being used twice. Right? 7. Well, you could have 7 and 4, or 7, 3, and 1, but there aren't other ways to make 4. Now you might say 2 and 2. We've only got 1, 2. So 6 and 5, 6, 4, and 1. You'll notice the way I'm making these, I'm counting down. I'm saying I've got an 8, what else do I need? I've got a 7, what else could I have? Okay? So, and I'm not considering bigger numbers. We could also have 6, 3, and 2. And that's it for ways to make the remaining 5 you need with the 6. Now 5, now you could say 5 goes with a 6. We've already got that. So let's assume that 5 is the biggest number. So I need to make 6 out of my remaining numbers. Well, we could have 4 and 2. You can't have 3 and 3. You can't have 5 and 1 because we've already used a 5. Are there other ways to make 6? Yeah, you could start using 3 numbers. 3, 2, 1, well, that's going to be it. What if 4 is my biggest number? Well, even if you included all the other smaller numbers, that's only 10. Okay? So these are the only ways to make 11. The question is, which ones can we match up? Okay? And we might now try and say, all right, with the 10 and the 1, what else could I have? Okay? Well, we could have the 9 and the 2. And if we did that, we could have the 8 and the 3, or the 7 and the 4, or the 5 and the 6. Okay? It might be easier to say which things can't we have. I'll use X's for those. So I can't use that, can't use that, can't use that, because those all use the 1s or the 2s. Okay? So if I'm doing the 10 1, the 9, the 2, I've got 3 different options. Okay? That's if we're using the 10 and the 1. What if we're using the 10 1, but not the 9 2? What if we were using the 8, 3? Which ones can I still use? Which ones can't I still use? Right? As long as we're organized, we can actually be fairly quick. So we're excluding this one as a possibility. Can't use this one. This has the 3, this has a 1, this has a 3, this has a 3. We could use this one, or this one, or this one. So we get 3 more possibilities. Right? Now let's suppose we use the 10 and the 1. And so as soon as I say I've got the 10 and the 1, automatically we don't even need to check these as possibilities. But we've done this one. We've done this one. Let's suppose we use the 7 and the 4. Okay, well, we can't use this one because the 4 is in use. But we could use the 6 and the 5. We could use the 6, 3, and 2. So there's 2 cases there. Okay. Now in purple, what else is there to use? The 6 and the 5. Can't use this. The 5's already in use. Can't use this. The 6 is already in use. There's nothing else to make. So we'd be using this one. This one, we need 3 groups that make 11. That's not going to work. So there's nothing from our purple group. Okay, but now we've dealt with it. Pink, let's try this one over here. Well, you can't use this one. It's the 5, 4, and 2, and the 2 is already in use. So we get nothing from the pink group. And, well, I mean, I suppose you could get the orange out and use it for this one, but there's nothing else to be used. Okay? So, the 10 and the 1 has 8 that we can work with. Okay? Now, there's plenty more, but we're at least halfway done. Okay? So rather than trying to find the best way, so now let's go through, and we won't use the 10 and the 1 at all. That one's off limits to us. Okay? So let's suppose we're using the 9 and the 2, and I'll keep a separate tally. Suppose I'm using the 9 and 2. Which things are immediately off limits to use? Well, you couldn't use the 2 again. So that cancels out a bunch of them. Now, what if I did the 9, 2 and the 8, 3? What else could I pair it with? Not this one, but any of these 3, yeah. That would be a great way to make 11. Okay. So now we won't use the blue one. We'll go yellow again. Suppose I use the 7 and 3. Can't use, sorry, 7 and 4. Can't use that one, can't use that one, but I can use this one. So there's 1. Now we can go through this very, very quickly. What if we used the 7, the 3, and the 1? Well, we can't use this one because it's already got a 1, but again, we could use this one. So there's 1 with that. Okay. And now you say, all right, what if I used this one and the 9 and 2? Well, this one's off limits. There's nothing else to pair with, so we're done. So with the 9 and the 2, and 9 being sort of our biggest number in use, we have 3, 1, 1. We've got 5 that we can do. All right, let's clear the board again. Okay. Now we'll use the 8 and the 3. How many can be worked with the 8 and the 3 that aren't the 9, 2, or the 1 and 10? Well, automatically, if we're separating 8 and 3 to be a group, these ones here are off limits. Okay? So let's suppose we use the 7 and the 4. Well, the 4 puts those off limits, but we still can use the 5 and the 6. So that's 1. And now, if we use the 6 and the 5, can't use this one, can't use this one. So that's a whole lot of nothing. But there's still some hope. Could we use the 6, 4, and 1? No, because the 4 is common to both of these. Okay? So when it comes to using the 8 and the 3, we have one more possibility, one more way to extract and make groups of 11. Okay? So keeping with the 8s, what if we used the 8, 2, and 1? and none of these other three that I'm crossing out. Well, you wouldn't be able to use the 7, 3, 1 or the 6, 4, and 1 or the 2 here because we're using 8, 2, and 1. 2 here, but we could use the 7, 4, and the 6, 5, so that's one more. And that's it. The others are off limits. There's one more. So 8, 5, 1, 1. We're at 15. As long as we get one more, we saw that the biggest we could get was 16. So we'll know we've got the right answer. What about the 7 and the 4? And we can use anything on that, but we can't use the 7, 3, 1. The 4 is in use. And that's it. Could we use the 6 and the 5? No, because the 6 is in use and the 5 is in use. Okay. Could we use the 6, 3, and 2? Well, no, because the 3 is in use. So there's nothing really more that we can add here. Okay. So nothing for that one. What if we used the 7, 3, and 1 instead? Right, automatically, you can't use this one, or this one, or this one. 6, 5? No, because the 5's in use. All right, so again, nothing. And it may turn out that 15 is the limit. Okay. So if I use 6, 5, can't use this one, this one, this one, or this one, so don't even bother. Ooh, the rarely used forest green. Never get to use this color. How about 6 and 4? Can't use this one. Can't use, nope. And the last possibility, maybe somehow do the cyan, except these two both have 5. There's no way to pair them up. So it looks like, and we really just had to sort of exhaust ourselves. We organized our cases and we thought it through carefully so that we don't accidentally double count or miss something. Looks like the answer is just going to be 15. That's hiding here at the end. So it's E. Okay. Not a bad question. A little long. Obviously, it'd be faster for you if you started getting a rhythm to it and you weren't explaining it on a YouTube video. But there we go. That's a nice way to do question 24. Now we've got only one question left to go. Question number 25. Feel free to join me for that in the next video. Until then, take care and have a wonderful day.